Brenton Ford here. Welcome to Swimming News this week. If you want to swim a faster 50 or 100 meter freestyle, there's a few changes you can make to your stroke in order to swim faster. Last week we looked at the hip driven stroke, which is usually better for longer distance events, anything 200 meters or more. But for 50s and 100s, you'll usually be swimming with a more shoulder driven stroke, which is where you keep your hips fairly still. There's not too much rotation, but there's more rotation in your shoulders. You'll usually start your catch a little bit deeper because there's more power when you're pulling deeper. It's not as efficient, which is why we don't do it quite so much in a hip-driven stroke, because you need to sustain your stroke for a longer period of time. But for the 50s and 100s, when you can maintain that stroke for 50 or 100 meters, then you can pull a little bit deeper where there is more power there. The other thing is you want to keep your drive and you want to keep your energy from your recovery going into the water. So as you enter, you want to almost throw yourself forward with each stroke, and you're entering from on top of the water. So you're really throwing yourself forward with each stroke that you take. The other thing that you might not be doing already for a 50 freestyle is you might be breathing too much. So if you can bring your breaths down to 0, 1, 2 or 3 for the lap, rather than doing 6, 7 or 8, then you'll probably find your times will come down with that. Because each breath that you take, it will typically slow you down. So if you can breathe less in your 50s, then you'll save a lot of time just from taking that breath. For 100, you don't want to restrict your breathing too much because you need to have your energy for that second 50. You need to be able to back up that second 50. So don't restrict your breathing like you would in the 50. You'll need a strong kick. So if you can improve your flexibility in your ankles, your hamstrings, your glutes, your hip flexors, and if you can just work on your kick, whether you're doing vertical kick, kicking against the wall, or just a couple of kick sets where you're mixing up your speed, that will also improve your sprinting. If you can improve your power in your pool by doing some basic body weight exercises outside the water, or if you're going to the gym and doing the right exercises there, then that will also help your sprinting. If you can practice swimming at high speeds, so if you use fins for some sprinting where you're getting your speed up, getting used to race pace, that will help your body get used to swimming at a higher pace, and you know what to do when you do get to a race and you are swimming fast. If you can do more short, sharp sprints in training where you're going 15, 20, 30 meters fast and just really getting your fast twitch fibers going, that will also help you in your sprint events. If you can practice getting a good fast dive and a good turn, you'll also bring your times down with that. Because the events are so short, it's important to have very good skills off the dive and in the turn, because you can lose half a second to a second there, which can mean the difference between first and second in a race. If you can rest up before a big competition, you need to taper, you need to rest up for anywhere from 5 days up to 2 weeks for some swimmers. If you can rest up and be ready for that big event that you've been training for, then you'll probably find that your body's refreshed, it's ready to race, and you've got more energy when it comes to your big event. If you can do the little things like shaving down, getting the right swimsuits, getting lower profile goggles, wearing a cap, just the basic little 1%ers, that will also get your times down. And if you put those things together, that will culminate in a faster 50 or 100 meter swim for you. So there's just a few ideas, some which you might be doing already, some which you might not. There's a few ideas for you to implement into your sprint training or your sprint events so that you can swim faster in the 50 and 100 meter freestyle. That's it for Swimming News this week. We'll see you next week.